So, the stress management session, no, it's a practical session also. So I know, like, so many of you are eagerly waiting and want to, like, learn a little bit of technique. And the last 2 years that we have been at home, and we know, like, the importance of managing our mind. Yeah. And all of us, most of us, 90% of this world has experimented on yoga and meditation. And definitely all of you know the basics of yoga and meditation, so I don't have to go in depth about it. But still, I would love to just introduce the mechanics of, like, what it is. So when we understand the mechanics of the stress, it becomes a little easier for us to manage the stress also. So one thing that I would request is, if all of you, if those of you can, whoever can, switch on your video, because I'm going to be teaching yoga, and I'm going to be teaching some meditation, I mean the breathing sessions. Yeah, it will be nice if I can see you. Yeah, this is just a request from my side, but otherwise we will just go ahead with it. Huh? So I'm representing the Art of Living organization, so I'll just straight away start off with our team. So all of you know, right? Here, the Art of Living has been there in more than 156 countries. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, like, it's there in more than 156 countries. Yeah. And for the last 40 years, like more than 40, this is the 41st year of the Art of Living. We have been teaching the breathing techniques for so many people. Yeah. So the most important thing is the Sudarshan Kriya technique that we have been teaching, and which has been very, very useful for so many people. So we're talking so much about stress, right? So what is this stress? Yeah, where does this stress come from? So one of the main things is the physical, at the level of the physical, and then at the level of the emotional, and at the level of the mental. So when I say, like, at the level of the physical, so it means, it simply is, see, every day we go about with the whole activities in our life. Yeah. And the demand on our from us, the demand from the society, from the nearby, the near and dear ones. Yeah. The demand on us is too much, but the capacity for us to meet the demands in our life is very less. So if we can increase our capacity, then it becomes a little easier for us to physically handle all the activities that we are, or I will not call it activities, it's more about our responsibilities that we are holding in our life. Yes. So do you all agree? Yeah. So as age progresses, we also see that we have more and more responsibilities. The demand on us seems to be increasing all the time. But as a medical doctor, I also know, like, physically, the body is not able to cope up with all the demands. Yes. So how do we increase this capacity to meet up all the demands? Yeah. One is, we can increase our energy level. So that is an obvious thing that all of us know. And we do a lot of gymnastics to see, like, how to keep up our energy level. Yeah. And second thing is definitely our time. So if we have more time, to meet all the demands, then stress is not a issue. But the stress is because we have to finish so many things in a very little time. So the only way that we will be able to handle this is by increasing our energy level. Yeah? So we will be talking more about, like, how to increase, because energy time is something that we don't have a hand in. Yeah, 24 hours is all everybody has in life, like be it the prime minister of the country or the watchman in the yeah building. We all have 24 hours, and we need to manage the 24 hours efficiently. Yeah, but that section is kind of a challenging. Yeah? But the easier thing for us to do is to increase our energy. Yeah? So this is at the physical when we are talking about the physical factors which contribute to the stress. Yeah, and we're talking about the at the emotional level. At the stress is also at the emotional level. Yeah, so what is it at the emotional level? So, like, when things don't go the way we expect, huh? Then there is a lot of stress that happens because the mind is not able to accept things. And in this non-acceptance, there is so much of stress that is happening. So it is basically, see, how can I improve my perception? So the way we perceive the world, yeah, and the way the world is actually, so the difference, to the degree our perception is different from the reality of the world, then the stress is added to it. To just make it a little more easier, if I say the wall behind me is blue, yeah? Now, if you are wearing a green color goggle or a pink color goggle, then the wall will look green or pink, right? Because there are so many people saying that the wall is blue, you understand it intellectually, but the way you feel or you know it is like pink or green, and this difference is something that is causing the stress. So this understanding itself, like, it can take us, it requires a lot of study also on our mind. We spend so much time, we invest so much time in learning how to operate this laptop, the phone, or so many different gadgets that we have, or the machines that we have. Yeah? You know how to operate it because you've invested time in learning all these things. But we've never invested time on our own mind to learn all these things, like, where is our perception going wrong? Why? What is this emotional thing that is happening? Why anger happens? Why jealousy happens? Yeah, all these, we know there are these negative emotions, but we never, or nobody is taught, or the world is not taught that is important for us to know the mechanics of the emotions. Yeah? So I would, if time permits, I will just throw a little bit of light into that emotional thing. Yeah? But it's a wide topic. But at least, like, I want all of you to know that there is a, it's easier for us. Like, people normally say, don't get angry, don't get jealous, don't be greedy. Yeah? But how not to get jealous, how not to be angry is something nobody has taught us. There is a definite mechanics to it. Let's just see if we can explore on that. Yeah? So that is, so at the level of the at the physical level, and then at the emotional level, our perception. So how we, as long as we perceive the reality of the world the way it is, then there is no stress. Yeah, then there's a total acceptance. So that is what we are aiming at. And at the third level is, like, at more mental, or, like, at advanced level is we know there's something inside us that we are, the self. Yeah. So the more we move away from the person that we are, the real truth that we are, then to that degree the stress also builds up. So it's just basically like, I am this kind, I am a particular, I have a particular taste, I have a particular thing. Yeah. But in trying to accommodate and fit myself into the world, there's so many changes that I've made that I've forgotten the person that I am. Yeah? It makes sense. So a lot of things that we do to fit ourselves into so many roles. Yeah? And when we do that, we forget the true self. Yeah. So that is something like, so how do we deal with that? Meditation is the only thing. So the more and more time we give and we go deeper into ourselves, like, it makes it a little more easier. Yeah. So coming back to our, the main session. So the thing is how, so we know this is the mechanism of stress. So how do we handle this stress? So the easiest way to handle this stress is through breath. Yeah? Breath and our emotions are connected. So that is the most beautiful thing. Yeah? So now, so breath, definitely in the last 2 years, we know the importance of breath. Yeah? You have everything in this world, but if you don't have the breath, then everything collapses. We know the importance of breath. Yeah? And breath is the simplest thing that we will be able to, like, we'll be able to use it. Like I said, no. So the energy, like, where do we get this energy from? 4 sources. One is obvious thing that we know. The food that we eat is a source of energy. Yeah. The sleep that we have is a source of energy. So food and sleep, I don't have to go too much. And I know for sure all of you are an expert on food. So I'm not even going into that subject. But sleep is something that I would love to, I would just touch and then go about. See, the sleep is, everybody requires a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So this is from a medical field. As a doctor, it's very important that everybody sleeps for 7 to 8 hours, because that is the time the body is detox. All the stress from the body, or the detoxification process, is happening in the body. Yeah. So if that 6 to 8 hours sleep is compromised, then automatically the detox process in the body is hampered. And because of that, like, we have a lot of stress related diseases and everything. Yeah? So the one simplest thing is, like, see, you have whatever aches or physical aches or like illness in the body. When you're working, like, that is how we are all trained, right? You need to work, you need to finish your targets and things. Yes, that is how we have been. So we go on about it, like, the whole day. So in the activity, body does not know how to let go of the stress. It is only when you sit down or, like, lie down on the bed that you know that your neck is aching or your shoulders are aching or your lower back is aching. Yes? Yeah. Because that is only when you sit down, then rest, then the body has the time to let out the stress. And that stress is coming out in the form of pain, or the body is crying out saying, look, give attention to me. Now, if you have pain in the neck, if the neck is simply saying there is too much stress out here, so pain is just an alarm. So we need to attend to it. So the thing is, sleep is very important. So a lot of time, what happens even when we fall ill, then because we take medicines, our body is fit, yeah, and we can go about doing all the activities as though there is no illness in our body. But that is wrong. Yeah. What happens then? This illness is not cured completely. It stays up into your system, and then it will complicate in future. So it's when you're sick, it's very important that you sleep. You sleep well, you take rest. And every day, that 7 to 8 hours sleep is it. So one is the quantity of the sleep, another is the quality of the sleep. Yeah. The quality, see, the thing is, a lot of time when we are sleeping, like, we are tossing, like, right and left and things like that. Like, you move around a lot. That is simply the body letting out its stress. Because during the day, you have not given the body enough time to let out the stress. So in the night, that process is happening. So in that process, like somewhere you're losing the quality of your sleep also. Uh, so just be aware of it. Yeah? So that is where it is very important that we do use yoga, pranayama, and meditation to let the stress out. So then the body is ready for its detox and it can just do its own job. Makes sense, everybody? Yeah. Something that comes up or anything. But this is very important. So the quality of the sleep is very important. So we also say, like when we sit for meditation, you just notice that, like, we have not trained our body to just close our eyes and sit. Like even for 10 minutes, if we have to sit with our eyes closed, the eyes keeps moving. It's called as a rapid eye movement. Yes. So this happens even in your sleep because you don't know that rapid eye movement simply means the body is so active. So when we sit for meditation, when we do pranayamas, it is like sending a signal to our brain, asking it to relax. So it is a training that we give. So that is, if I start talking science and research, I can go on. So I just want to stop over here. So that is about sleep. So food, sleep. So I told you there are 4 sources of energy: food, sleep, breath, and meditation. So we are going to focus more on the breath and meditation because food and sleep is limited. There's only so much food you can eat and there's only so much sleep you can have. Yeah, these 2 sources are limited. But if you see the breath and the meditation, the mind, yeah, a happy state of mind is a source which is like, undying and which does not have any limits. Yeah. So the breath will come back to the breath. So what is the first thing that we do when we come into this world? Breathe in. Yeah, that is the baby breathes in and then it just does not know how to breathe out and then it just cries. Yeah. So in the process of crying out, it is just breathing out. Yeah? So that is the first act. The first act in our life is breathing in. And the last act in our life is breathing out. So our entire life is between a breath in and breath out. But we've never given so much importance or even bother to know more about this breath. So we'll start correcting this right away. So we will see, like, how to breathe the right way. So I just want all of you to experiment. So when you breathe in, yeah, the stomach typically should come out like a balloon. And when you breathe out, the stomach should go in. Yeah, so that is the first thing that we are all going to do right now. Yeah. So can we all do that? Yeah. Consciously breathe in. Push your stomach out. Breathe out. Pull the stomach in. Breathe in. Push the stomach out. Breathe out. Pull the stomach in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. This is the basic correction that we need to make. 99% don't even know how we are. 99% of the population. Only when the doctors put the stethoscope, then you are even breathing. Otherwise, we're not even aware about our breathing. So this is the first correction that we are going to make. See why this breath is important. Because see, the lungs are like this. 97% of the toxin, 96 to 97% of the toxins in the body is going out through your lungs. only 3 to 4% is going out through urine, feces, or the sweat. But majority, 96 to 97% of the toxins in the body is going out through your breath. So when we give the focus on the breath, automatically the toxins also will go out of the body. But the problem out here is the lungs are like this. Yeah. Right now, the breathing capacity is only this 30%. We are using only the upper half of our, not even half, the 1/3, upper 1/3 of our lungs. Yeah? Only 30% of our lungs is functioning. So when you actually start practicing the breathing pranayamas, the techniques, breathing techniques, the pranayamas, then the lungs will open 70 to 80%. So when the lungs start working 70 to 80%, automatically all the toxins will go out, and the lung is the main organ for your immunity also. Yeah. So automatically your immunity also will improve. Yeah. Good. So our focus today is to see how we can move from 30% to 70%. Make sense? Yeah. Good. So the same thing. So when we are doing our exercise also, we are going to be focusing on our breath. So like we will just start off with few exercises. I'm just going to give you practical tips. So I can do the slides and like signs and all those things. Knowing the mechanism is not going to change the life. Yeah. Actually doing the breathing technique is what is actually going to help us. So straight away, we'll just start off with the techniques which will help us remove the stress from our body. Yeah? So one thing is the body joints. Normally, the stress is there in all the joints. Okay? It gets accumulated in the joints. That's why you have this pain in the neck, in all the joints, basically knee, hip, and everything. Yeah? So we will start off with the exercises, taking the stress out of our joint. So we'll start with the neck. Yeah. So breathe in, take your head back. Stay there for 2 breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now breathe in, breathe out, bring your chin to the chest and breathe out faster. So when you're doing this, the lower lobe of your lung is also acting. So breathe in, take your head back. Breathe out, bring your chin to the chest. Breathe out faster. And relax. Now take your right hand, keep it above your left ear. Yeah? And breathe in, breathe out, and push the head to the right side. With your right hand, push the head to the right side. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, and relax. Now, take your left hand and keep it above your right ear and push the head to the left side and pull the right shoulders down. You will feel the stretch. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, and relax. These muscles are called as the trapezius muscles. It's one long muscles all the way from the neck to the middle of your ribs, yeah, at the back. Yeah. So this muscle is very, very important. Like, we don't take care of the muscle, then we end up with a lot of neck problems. See, one thing is why I'm focusing on the breath is, so you can just do. So when we do an exercise like this, it is just an exercise for the muscles. Yeah, the muscles might get your strength and flexibility, but the toxins will remain there. But when you're using the breath, so I'm holding and I'm focusing on my breath. So when my breath gets involved, then all the stress, all the toxins from that area comes out. So that is the only thing, the most important takeaway from this session, everybody. Yeah. Any exercises, anything that you do, just focus on the breath so that it takes the toxins or the stress out of that part. Yeah? So Now interlace your fingers. We are still on the neck. Yeah, interlace your fingers. Keep it on your forehead. And with your forehead, you're trying to push the hand away. Push, 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 and relax. Now keep your hands at the back, the bulge of the head, yeah, and move your elbows as much as possible behind. Expand your chest. Yeah. Now, with your head, try to push the hand away. Push the hand away. Push, 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 and just move your neck right and left, up and down. A lot of people will normally do this whole rotation. Yeah, breathe in and breathe out. Just a warning, if you have any of the cervical problems, so this is not a good idea. Huh? This will not suit your cervical spine. Huh? It's always better to break your neck movements into parts if you have a cervical issue. So that is about the neck. So now we'll come to our shoulders. Yeah? Shoulders, yeah. What you do, breathe in, take your shoulders up, hold your breath, and start pumping the shoulders. You're holding the breath, pump your shoulders for about 20. 8. Ha. So when you're breathing out, say ha, and then do it. Yeah? So this arms has a lot of lymphatic system. So when we are doing this, automatically all the things, the lymph and everything will work around the shoulders. So shall we do that once again? Yeah. So breathe in. Take your shoulders all the way up to the ear. Hold your breath. The key is holding the breath. And now pump. Ha! Yeah. So holding your breath is very important. That is how we increase our lung capacity. Yeah. So now you feel the difference. It's very simple. You can just in your desk, like you can just sit and do. You don't have to take time out to do all these things, but these are very important. Yeah. Now the same way, see if you can keep your elbows together. If your elbows are not touching, you need to do something about it. Yeah. If your elbows are touching, then your health is good. Yeah? So breathe in, take your elbows back, breathe out, bring it forward. Breathe in, rotate your shoulders, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now same, breathe in, take your elbows back, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. So now a little challenging thing. So what I want you to do is the thumb has to go in and then all the 4 fingers covers the thumb. Keep your arms in the front. Yeah. Now breathe in, hold your breath and rotate your arms. 8 times. And ha! When you're breathing out, really breathe out from. When you breathe out like that, when you breathe out saying ha, that lower lobe of the lungs will get active. Yeah, the corona thing, no? The most thing is your lower lobe of the lung was a problematic thing, which was not active. So this is the way we get everything out of our lung. Yeah? So we'll do that again. Yeah, reverse the direction. Yeah? So thumb, fold, breathe in, hold the breath, reverse the direction, go back. Hold the breath 10 times or 8 times, whatever is comfortable for you. Ha! When you're breathing out, do that ha and ha. Like making that ha sound is very, very, very important. So now you feel the gush of energy. So this is one way of increasing our energy. So another thing for our wrist. Yeah. So again, okay, and just breathe in, breathe out. Opposite. So all of us know all these things. Do in and out, up and down. So now this point out here, yeah, so there's we all know about the carpal tunnel syndrome. Huh? So it is basically a small canal over here, and then the nerve passes through it. Yeah? So now, if the nerve is pinched, the canal is like very thin, but it's very bony and it does not have enough space. It pinches on the thing, and then people have a lot of pain. Yeah? So few exercises to help with that. Yeah. So just make sure this point touches each other. Yeah? And open up your shoulders, push your elbows back, and press, press, press. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now the namaste is going down. Move your fingers down. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And relax. Shake, 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 shake. So now interlace your elbows, take it up and over your shoulders. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Now reverse, breathe in, take it over your shoulders and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Shake, 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 shake. Okay. How? See, there is a nerve called as a vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is our 10th cranial nerve, and it runs all over the body. So that it's called a vagabond. Vagabond is like someone who goes all over the place, right? So that is why the name vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is something which supplies almost all the parts of your body, and is a very important nerve in our body. So if the vagus nerve is healthy, 99% your health is also very good. So I'm going to teach you one exercise which helps with the vagus nerve. Yeah. So let me. It is nice if you can stand up because it is for the whole body. Yeah. So when you're standing, also make sure your toes are together. Yeah. So take your arms onto the side, like it's like a tata. Yeah? But make sure the fingers are pulled towards you and you're pushing the palm out. Yeah? You push the palm out, pull the fingers towards you. You will feel the strain all the way up to the knee. It hurts a little bit. Yeah? If it is hurting, then you know that you're doing it the right way. Then you do a nice tata, roll your arms nicely in and out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe in. Now bring your arms, don't drop your arm. Again, the same way. Breathe in, breathe out. In the front. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Now at an angle. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Now take your arms at the back. Breathe in, breathe out. Come back again. Do it with a smile. That's the only thing that can help you with this. This is a very powerful exercise. Good. Yeah. You will feel the sensation all the way from the tip of your fingers up to your neck. Now relax. Don't do anything. Just gently drop the hands by the side of the body. Close your eyes. Breathe in from the tip of your fingers all the way up to the neck. Breathe in and breathe out. and gently shake. Just shake, 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 shake. Yeah, shake, shake, shake your fingers. So you see all that blood circulation, everything. So we are done with our neck and a lot of things on our shoulder region. So now we come on to the sides. Yeah, sides of our body. It's very important. The spine, right? The spine, there are 3-4 basic movements in the spine. Yeah, so one is we stretch our spine. Yeah, come on your toes and stretch the spine and relax. Yeah. And we bend backwards, bending backwards and bending forward. This is just a simple stretch for our spine. Yeah? We stretch forward, stretch backwards. Yeah? And then we stretch onto the sides. So this is just get the spine. If the spine is healthy, your health is healthy because everything depends on the spine. Spine is the first organ that is formed in the body. Like, if you see the ultrasound of the baby, of the fetus, the first organ that is formed is the spine. And from that spine, the entire intelligence is come. Yeah? So the spine has a lot of healing capacity in it. Yeah? Innate healing capacity is there in the spine. So if we nurture the spine is healthy, the body can heal itself. That's yeah. So with the spine, you need to stretch up, stretch the spine. You need to bend down, bend backwards. Then you need to do the sideways movement for the spine, and then the twist. Yeah. So twist. Look behind at the opposite leg, and twist. Twisting for the spine is very important. And that's all you need to do for the spine. Just 2-3 things. Make sure you're doing this every day. Then your spine will remain healthy. Now we come to our hips. Yeah. So the thing, simple thing. Yeah, keep your legs about shoulder width apart, and then breathe in. Move your hips halfway round. Just the hip is another joint, right? And opposite direction. Breathe in and breathe out. That's very important. Good. Yeah. So now there is this joint, the hip and the leg joint. Yeah. So you need to move your legs out and in, in. Move the leg forward and backwards. Forward, backward, forward, backward. Yeah. And round. Breathe in, halfway round. Breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now reverse. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. That's it. Now the same thing for our left side. Yeah. Forward. Yeah. So leave your knees loose. Yeah. The focus is on the hip joint. And then move your legs out and in, out and in. Now do the rotation. Yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. The opposite side, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. See, these are such basic exercise that anybody and everybody can do. Good, it's simple, but doing it is very, very important. Good. Yeah. So now, so now we are done with the hips. So we'll just come to our knees. See if you can hold your knees. Yeah, hold your knees. See, balance is also very important. So if your spine is healthy, balance is very easy for you. If your spine is not healthy, balance will go out of the body. If the balance goes out of the body, then again that causes a lot of problems. Just see if you can hold your legs from the back. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. So always make sure you're doing some kind of a balancing exercise every day. Yeah? So once again, the other knee, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. 3 times. Breathe in, breathe out. Now hold your legs at the back. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. That's it. And now kick. Now breathe in, ha, kick. The knees are going to be healthy. Breathe in, ha, breathe in, ha. The other knee, breathe in, ha, breathe in, ha, breathe in, ha. That's about it. And the last joint is your ankle joint. Yeah. So then move the ankle. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Good. The other leg, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Opposite direction. That's it. Just you need to move. See, when it comes to diabetes and hypertension, if your ankle and knee, if they're not good, it will be a lot of issues. Definitely, you will have a lot of issue related to diabetes and but if you take care and make sure you are doing exercise for your ankle and your knee, you will be like surprised to see how good your blood circulation, and also it helps with the sugar. And one more thing that you can do is come on your toes, go on your heels. Yeah? Toes, heel, toes, heel. So this again is a very important exercise because your calf muscle is like your second heart. So when you're doing this exercise, the calf muscles are like, whatever, your lymphatic system, your heart, blood circulation, everything becomes better when you're doing this exercise. Yeah? Come on your toes, come on your heels, come on your toes, come on your heels. So that is the most important thing. So this is about the basic thing. Anybody, even a 90-year-old person can do all these exercises. Yeah. It cannot be simpler than this, but they are very powerful. So now we'll come straight away to the breathing exercises. Few breathing exercises that we should all be doing, which will help us. So one thing is the lungs, right? Yeah. So imagine the breath is in front of you and you're pulling the air towards. Okay? So can you all do that? So again, make sure your toes are together. Yeah. Yeah. And do it for 10 breaths. Yeah. You're breathing in forcibly. Good. Yeah. Now the body is straight, they're only twisting. So this way, the lungs, they also will twist, and it's a very fine mechanism, but then it helps the lungs in a big way. Yeah. So you just twist your body. Imagine breath is on the right side and you're pulling the breath 10 times. Now the left side. Now all the 3 sides. Yeah. So you're pulling the air forcibly. Yeah, you're breathing in forcibly. That is the focus. Now the same way, pulling the air from top. Now from down, like you're just pulling the air from down. So if you're doing, in case you're not watching me, or if you're actually doing, you can see the sweat. It is just not less than a minute, but it's a very simple but powerful exercise. Now the same way, yeah, we have to breathe out. This is something that you can teach for everybody at home also. This is the most important exercise for our lungs to keep us healthy for the next 2-3 years, to fight all these pandemics that we are going through. Yeah, which is something like how we brush every day and how we have bath every day. This particular exercise has to be done by everybody every day. Good. We are going to breathe out. We are going to throw the air out. Right side. Left side. All the three sides. And now to the top. Yeah, you're breathing out forcibly and throwing air to the ceiling. Now to throw the air down. And relax, close your eyes. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the difference in your lungs, the way you're breathing, how easily breath is going in and how easily breath is coming out. Okay, so there's one more exercise to get the energy going in our spine. So this is for the lungs, yeah, whatever we did right now. Another very powerful exercise to get the energy going in our spine. No Google will teach any of these exercises, whatever I've taught. Very scientific there. So you will start from our navel. Start from the navel. So all you need to do is you're jerking the elbows back and you're breathing out forcibly. And we move the arms all the way, like, come step by step, like, every vertebra. Yeah? And then we take our hands up about the way. And then the same way we come down. That. So are we ready? Let's start. So from the navel, breathe in, breathe out forcibly, and jerk. Take your elbows back as much as possible. Yeah? Relax, close your eyes. Here's the difference between the right side of the body and the left side of the body. Now we'll start from the left side, from the navel. Relax. Everybody is there. Some sign. Can do something on your chat or show me some sign. Only Dr. Jagdish is encouraging me. Yes, thank you, Nia. Good. Thank you, Kiran. Good. These are very, very simple, but very, very powerful. So two things. One is for our lungs, and then we did something for our spine. However sick you are, whatever happens to you, don't miss. Like, make sure you focus on these two things: your lungs and spine. Immediately, thank you for all your encouragement. Thank you. So immediately do this, then you will see. So because we won't be able to do your asanas, no, like yoga. Like, I can teach you a lot of yoga, yeah? But it is not possible by everybody. Like, everybody's body may not be that flexible. But these breathing exercises, very simple, but very powerful. It can be done by anybody in everybody. So now, before we, so we'll start with pranayama. So pranayama means what? Prana is the life force energy. Yeah. Yeah. Would you elaborate the emotions of Yeah, I will definitely do that at the end of the session. No, once I finish with the pranayama and the meditation, I'll get back to that. Yeah, how every emotion is related to different parts of the things. Whereas the thing that we need to focus is something that I will talk about here. The 7 chakras are there, and there are different emotions related to it. So if we focus on the things, then it will just, so there is a positive side to it and a negative side to it. So if we give energy to it, like, the same emotion will become a positive emotion. So we'll come back to that a little later. So the pranayama part, so this is simple. I will just a warm up kind of an exercise, but they are there. This is called Sushma Vyayama. Sushma is subtle. They're subtle, but they're very powerful. And so this is yoga techniques that we have been going through. Now we'll come back to the pranayamas. Pranayamas is specifically for our lungs. I'm going to teach you 3 pranayamas. It's very important. So prana means it's a basic life force energy. If down south, if somebody dies or passes away, then we say prana hoito. That means his prana has left the body. So it is subtler than the breath. It's a life force energy. It's very interesting. If you can all do it with me, you can experience like what this prana is, how different it is from the breath. Yeah, can you all do it? Shake your hands faster. Shake, 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 shake as though your fingers are going to fall off. If you're wearing a finger ring, it will fall off. That forcibly you have to shake your finger. Now just close your eyes, place your palms on your lap. Now do you feel that tingling sensation passing all over your body? You feel that tingling sensation, some current kind of a thing passing all over your body. So that is prana. It is subtler than the breath. Breath is a little more obvious, but this prana is subtler than that. So yama means controlling. So how controlling this life force energy is what pranayama is all about. Yeah, that is what. So we are directing the life force energy. So all of you are quite familiar with this alternate nostril pranayama. That's what we call it. It is the Nadi Shodhan pranayama. So we have this 3 nadis, the Ida, Pingala, and the Sushma. There's a lot of science related to it. It's a very beautiful thing. So if all the 3 nadis, there are more than 72,000 nadis, in which these 3 nadis are the main nadis. If these 3 nadis are functioning the right way, then a lot of things are settled in our life. Yeah. So the nadi, the prana, it said the prana is coming from the foot. Yeah. and goes up into the hip, and then like, it crosses over the navel, then it crosses over at the shoulder level, the nose, and then, so it moves like a serpent. So that is why the depiction is also like that. So that is also one of the reasons why after a person passes away, we normally, we tie those two big toes, right? Because the secret is in those big toes. The prana enters and leads through that. It's a very interesting science. Huh? So the three main nadis, yeah, the Ida, Pingala, and Sushmana, okay, the sun, moon, and the middle, Madhya Nadi. So these three nadis are like the main nadis. So when we do this Nadi Shodhan Pranayama, it balances all the three nadis. So what we are doing is, so there are different variations to it. I'm teaching the way that I normally practice, and we at Art of Living practice. This is we call it as Nadi Shodhan Pranayama, something that clears the nadis. Yeah, these nadis. Yeah? So the left hand is in Chin Mudra. Yeah? The tip of the thumb and the tip of the index finger is touching each other. Yeah, and then your right hand, the thumb is on the nose, and your ring finger on the right ring finger is on the left nose. So you're basically holding the nose. So what we are going to be doing is, we are breathing in from one nose, then we close that nose and we breathe out from the left. Suppose we breathe in from the right, we close the right, and we breathe out from the left. So that is why we are using these two fingers. Now you don't have to open it out like that. Yeah, you gently hold it and just press, release, press, release. That is more than enough. So you're just, the hands are in position. And now these two fingers, the middle finger and the index finger, touches the middle of your eyebrows. Yeah. So what happens is, when we do this, there is a gland called as the pineal gland. The pituitary and the pineal glands are the master glands. Yeah? They are the master endocrine glands. Yeah? They regulate the entire thing in our body. So when we are doing this Nadi Shodhan Pranayama, we are also activating the master glands. Yeah? So that is why these two fingers touching the middle of your eyebrows is very important. Okay, one more thing that I just wanted to bring to your attention is the mechanics of stress again. Yeah? So what happens when there is a stress? Yeah, there is this body, the hormones, the master gland gives the signal, yeah, that there is a traumatic, or like, there is a foreign thing or an emergency that is happening. So then the body is preparing for a fight or a flight. I'm either going to fight you or I'm going to run away from the situation. So this is the emotion that the hormones are training. So that is how we train ourselves. So adrenaline, when it is released, that is the mode the body goes in. So when the adrenaline is released, then automatically your heart will start pumping faster, because it is thinking there is some danger to the body. And because the heart is pumping so fast, the stomach is thinking like, it needs to give more energy for the body to fight, yeah, and fight the danger. So then the stomach, like, all the acids and the stomach is hyperactive. And because of that, the acid comes out. But if the food is not there in the food, then it leads into acidity. I hope, like, you're getting it. It is very simple, but the mechanics of it is very, once you understand it, you don't want to train your body like that. So adrenaline, the heart is going like that, and then the stomach is thinking like it needs to produce more energy. And because of this, the kidney is getting the function like, the heart needs more blood. So then when the kidney starts functioning, like, the hyperactivity of the kidney also happens. So this is the thing that is happening in the body when the adrenaline is released. Yeah? So this is how we have trained our brain. Yeah? So now there is another way of training our brain. Yeah? So there is this waves called as the beta waves and alpha waves. Yeah? Basically, beta wave is a wave which is very dominant when we are doing activity. So when we are doing any activity, then beta wave is very prominent. Yeah. And then the alpha wave is a wave which is there when the body is very relaxed. Yeah. So now, when you start doing your pranayamas and meditation, what happens is the alpha waves will be very high. So even when a danger comes in, or like that, so the hypothalamus is given the signal that, look, relax, I know how to handle this. So like, you're not going into the fear or the fight mode, but the body is more in a relaxed way because it knows how to handle it. So for those people who are practicing pranayama and meditation, your alpha waves are very high, even in a stressful situation. So this is like, practically, like, scientifically, chemically, or whatever you call it, it is there. Like, you can take the chemicals out and you can check, like, you can put in the waves and then you can check. Yeah? So this is a very beautiful thing. So we have to train our body to go into more of the alpha wave, to recognize more of the alpha waves. Yeah. And then this beta waves. So beta waves is like very active. So when we are meditating, what happens when you're sleeping? Your beta wave is completely dead. In the meditation, what happens when you practice Sudarshan Kriya and all these things? What happens? Even if your body is completely relaxed, your alertness is super high. So your beta activity is also high. So that is the beauty. Yeah? To have a very active mind in a completely relaxed situation. See, the way we are trained, right? We are either like, we are either completely relaxed or we are completely stressed, yeah, tensed. Yeah? We feel like, only out of tension we can function well. So the beta waves, it's not like that. Yeah. So you can be completely relaxed and at the same time be focused and alert and super functional. This is a quality that you will get when you practice your yoga and meditation, and this is how we need to train our brain also. So we have this part in brain which is called as amygdala. Amygdala, it's like an almond shape. That is why it is called the amygdala. So it's a very small part of the brain. So that is the place where the fear, any fear or anything, the amygdala grows bigger. So when you start doing your yoga and meditation, your amygdala will shrink. Yeah? And we have another part in our brain which is called as a hippocampus, close to the amygdala. So hippocampus is like, again, like it's a memory kind of. Yeah? So like all our old trauma and all those things, like, there are a lot of those lesions that are any stress, it becomes a lesion in the hippocampus, and then, like, it forms a guiding. So when we learn how to do yoga meditations, yoga pranayama meditations, then the hippocampus, like, you will see that there is no lesions in hippocampus. Yeah. And the amygdala is, like, well settled. So this is actually happening in your brain. It is not something, but this is something that we need to train for. That is why yoga and meditation is very important. Yeah. So good. Well, so that we were talking about this Nadi Shodhan Pranayama. No? So this is what is like happening. So when you're doing this Nadi Shodhan Pranayama, the master gland is learning itself not to go into the fight and flight mode. Basically, that is what it is. Yeah. So left hand in the chin mudra, the right hand, yeah, thumb is on the nose, the index finger is on the left nostril, the middle and the index, the ring finger is on the left nostril, the middle and the index finger is in the middle of your eyebrows, little finger is anywhere on the face. So breathe in from the left, close your left, Breathe out from the right. Breathe in right. Breathe out left. Breathe in left. Breathe out right. Continue. Just for 5 rounds. Relax after this round. Gently, very gently. Okay. So this is Nadi Shodhan, most of us, everybody knows, like, Kapalbhati and Nadi Shodhan. Everybody is a household name these days in India. Huh? Now another thing is a Brahmari. So different kinds of Brahmari is done. Any kind of Brahmari is good. But Brahmari is again one very important pranayama. Because we have all the heart, the nitric oxide is another chemical which will help prevent that you are why heart attack happens is like the blood vessels are there and there is a coating on the blood vessels, right? Yeah, like the calcium coating on the So what happens when we are doing the Brahmari is like it helps prevent all these coatings that are happening in our blood vessels. So that's one of the not the thing for the Brahmari, but one of the advantage of doing the Brahmari. Yeah? And that right now is very important. So with in the pandemic, two things. One is our heart and one is our lungs. Yeah? So the heart, like the complications are because of these things, like the heart getting blocked. Yeah? So to avoid that, this Brahmari is very important. So it's something that we need to learn. So what you can do is your index finger, you can keep it either outside the ear or inside the ear. It does not matter. So all you're going to do is breathe in. As you breathe out, you make a humming sound. So when you're making that humming sound, like, there's a flapping that action that happens. And that flapping action is what, like, inside that vibrations happens. And that is the key. So it can be a high pitch vibration or it can be low pitch, whatever is convenient for you. So when we are doing it, like, your hands can go in, out, in, out, in, out to help with that vibrations. Yeah. So we'll do it 3 times. Yeah. So breathe in. Make the humming sound. And move your hands alternatively in and out. Once again, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Relax. Okay. That's just a touch and go basics about the pranayamas. I just wanted to, and then there is one more pranayama that I want to teach. It is called as the we call it straw pranayama for the lack of the name. You will not find it in the Google or anything again. what we are going to do is, we are going to breathe in from the nose. And when you're breathing out, like there is a small hole, the size of the straw. So you have to breathe out through that hole. And you're going to breathe out for a long time. So this way we are increasing our lung capacity. It's one of the powerful exercise again for our handling. So breathe in from the nose, breathe out from the mouth. You can go on. Yeah, you can breathe out for more than a minute or two and a half minutes. Easily you can breathe out. Yeah, that simply shows the kind of your lung capacity. So we'll just do that 5 times. Yeah? So this is again for anybody. This is again a trick. Huh? We normally teach it for all the sports people also, because they have only like 2 or 3 minutes or maximum 5 minutes they have to rest. Yeah, and then they have to get back to the game. So in that 5 minutes, something which can calm them down mentally, at the same time energize them physically. So this is one pranayama, which is very simple. People will not even know that you're doing these pranayamas. Yeah? So you're breathing in from the nose, you're breathing out through the mouth. Like there is a straw hole and you're breathing out for a very long time through that straw hole. So anybody has any kind of blood pressure issue, high, low, it does not matter. So when we practice this about 10 times, 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening, it helps a lot with our blood pressure. And suppose you're climbing up the hill and then you're very tired physically, you're not able to, you feel like, you need more breath, just stand, sit, whatever, wherever, you just practice this straw pranayama for 3 or 5 breaths, immediately you will see the difference in your energy level. Huh? So it's a shortcut pranayama, straw pranayama. So we'll just do it 3 times. Breathe in from the nose, breathe out from the mouth. As long as you can. Breathe out as long as you can. Relax after this round. Now, we just have another half an hour to go, half an hour to go. We'll just learn about meditation. A lot of us have a lot of questions about meditation. We have our own concepts about meditation. I just want to share a small talk by Gurudev on meditation.
Namaste. Hope everyone is doing good. Today we'll do meditation. Afterwards, I'll take some question and answers about meditation. You may have some questions, right? So, let's revisit the basic principle of meditation. Meditation is not concentration. First of all, many people around the world think meditation means it's concentration, effort, or focusing your mind or making mind stay on something. And it's such a strain, such a struggle. This is what people think is meditation. That is not. So, the first and foremost point to bear in our mind is meditation is not concentration, it is not effort. Meditation is relaxation, simple, conscious relaxation. Yeah? And then there are three golden rules for meditation. Those three golden rules are, the first one is to say, for next few minutes, 20 minutes, I want nothing. You know, the thought of wanting something keeps our mind active and it keeps it on the surface level. When we say, I don't want anything, the mind settles down. So, just for this period of time, of next 20 minutes, I say, I want nothing. You know, this must be the first understanding. Huh? Is it possible to do that for everyone? You can have all your desires, you have all your wants. Don't think that, oh, you are meditating, you can give up all your
ನೀವು
desires.
ಬೈತಾಯಿಲ್ಲ
No. At least for this
ಅಪ್ಪ
20
ಕ್ಲೋಸ್
minutes,
பண்ணிட்டேன்
say, you don't wear shoes and jump into the swimming pool. You get out of your shoes, right? When you go into a swimming pool. Or when you take a bath, you don't go with your bathrobe even to stand under the shower. Similarly, when we want to meditate for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, so that duration of time, we have to say, in this next 20 minutes, I want nothing. First rule. Second thing that we need to attend to is that we do nothing. Meditation is not focusing, concentrating your mind somewhere, none of that. I do nothing. Not that you keep repeating a mantra, japa the whole time. No, not the whole time. So, even when you say mantras, you take the mantra and then you let go. It's as good as doing nothing. Right? Even if you are doing mantra meditation, it should be with the least effort. Actually, no effort at all. It's an effortless effort, actually. And suppose you are listening to guided meditation, like what we are going to do now. Don't listen with lot of intention or focused attention. Just listen to it lightly, like you listen to music. Not to listen to any instruction, including this, when you are meditating with intent or intensity. So, I do nothing is the second principle. The third principle is I am nothing. We have to get out of our identity that we hold on so tight if we want to have deep meditation. Identity is what? Oh, I am well read, or I am intelligent, or the opposite. I am the dumbest person on the planet. I am a big fool. These type of labels that we stick on ourselves should be done with, at least for the next 20 minutes. Later on, it's your choice. I am rich, no way you can meditate. I am poor, no way. It's the same. Any identity, I am rich, I am poor, I am intelligent, I am fool, I am very holy, or I am a sinner. If you think you are a sinner, and that label itself will obstruct you from going deep. So for some time you say, I am nothing. Acknowledge the fact you know nothing about yourself. That's a fact. Or you know very little about yourself. There is a lot that you don't know about yourself. Huh? So, I do nothing, I want nothing, I am nothing. These three rules. Okay? So let us sit comfortably, easily.
Okay, so don't get scared of meditation. Just simply, a lot of people have this thing, no, that I should not have any thoughts, nothing. Even if the thoughts are coming, it is just know that it is just going out of you. Yeah? So anything. So guided meditation, I will just do a 10 minutes meditation. It is just training your mind to close, like, the minute you close your eyes, to let go, relax. So it's just training the mind to relax and let go of all these stress. So that is what meditation very simple means. We will just do it. Just 10 minutes meditation is okay with everybody. Yeah. Just sit with your eyes closed is the most beautiful thing to do. Yeah? This is again guided meditation by Gurudev. It'll be both in English and Hindi.
First, let us shake our hands. Shake our hands, and then let's keep our hands on our lap, or however you feel comfortable. And let's close our eyes. आंखें बंद कर लें. रीढ़ की हड्डी सीधा रहे. Let's keep our spine erect and body relaxed. शरीर को ढीला छोड़ दें. We came into this planet weighing just 4 kilos or 5 kilos. Recollect or remember the weight of your body. It is 60 kilos, 70 kilos, whatever that is. Place your weight on the chair or on the floor you are sitting right at this point. Let's take a deep breath in, hold the breath and let go. Honor your own body. Your body is a precious gift to you from nature. Become aware of your whole body, skins, tissues, muscles, blood vessels, bones, and all the internal organs. Your body is a precious gift to you. अरबों खरबों अणु परमाणुओं से बना है हमारा अपना शरीर. अपने ही शरीर को मन ही मन आप सम्मान करें. Now let us come to the second dimension, your breath. It is our breath that is keeping our body alive. Your body is alive because of your breath. Take a deep breath in and let go. Incoming breath energizes the body and outgoing breath brings relaxation. This is happening all the time. Let us honor our own breath. अपनी ही सांस पर आप गौर करें. आपका सांस भीतर बाहर आ जा रही है. Become aware of the air all around you. Like fish in the water, we are in air. Relax more and more. Let's take our attention to the top of the head. And become aware of the empty space above our head. Become aware of the space in the entire room that you are sitting. हमारा शरीर बाती है तो मन ज्योति है. मन का विस्तार शरीर के चारों ओर है. जो भी विचार आ रहे हो मन में, आने दें. अच्छे बुरे सभी विचारों को स्वागत कर. एक और गहरी सांस लीजिए और छोड़िए. विचारों को गले लगाते जाएं. Embrace all the thoughts, pleasant or unpleasant, good or bad. Become aware of a point right in the center of your heart, center of your chest. And take a deep breath in and breathe out and relax even more. As the body relaxes, the mind expands. And as the mind expands, your body finds deep relaxation. This moment, there's nothing to do and nothing to know either. Just let go and relax. इस वक्त इस घड़ी में न करने को कुछ है, न जानने के लिए कुछ है. केवल विश्राम करें. अपने आप में विश्राम करें. Repose in yourself. You are a fountain of love. You are an ocean of peace. Repose in yourself. मुस्कुराते मुस्कुराते गहरी सांस लीजिए. Take a deep breath in with a smile. Breathe out with a smile. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
ओम शांति शांति.
ओ शांति बोलना टीचर.
धीरे धीरे शरीर और परिसर के प्रति सजग हो जाए. एक और गहरी सांस लीजिए और सांस छोड़ते छोड़ते आप आंखें खोल सकते हो. As you breathe out, you may open your eyes.
Good. Now it's just a very simple. We have a lot of guided meditation in Gurudeva. This is something that we need to practice. Like, how it's very important thing that we also have to teach the future generation. Like, how we teach them to brush, how we teach them to have bath. The same way, when you meditate, we keep our mind very calm. We remove all the stress from the mind. That is also very, the hygiene, mental hygiene is also like how we say dental hygiene. Mental hygiene is also very, very important. So that is something that we have to consciously practice. So it was okay for all of you to close your eyes for 10 minutes. How are you all feeling? The meditation? Yeah, thank you. Good. See, the thing is, like, we were talking about emotions. Feeling pleasant, yeah. Thank you, Niranjan. We were talking about emotions. Directly, we don't have a say on our emotions. So, see, when we get angry, how is it breathing? Faster, right? When we're very happy, how is our breathing? We breathe in for a long time. Yeah, the breathing in is for a long time. When we are depressed, when we are like, when we give up, it's like, so the breathing out is a long time. So if you notice, with every emotions, your breathing pattern changes. So all this while it was being a one-way traffic. However, our emotions are, the breathing would go haywire. But that is the trick now. Yeah? So using the breath, we are going to handle the emotions. We're going to handle the mind. Like how a kite is there. Like, the kite is up, flying up in the air. You're over here. But what is that thing that is holding the kite and controlling the kite? The thread, yeah, which is not even seen, isn't it? Yeah. Like that, if the breath is the thread which can handle the mind which is going all over the place like the kite. If you have the thread in your hand, you are the boss, right? Otherwise, you have to run behind the kite, right? If you have the thread in your hand, then the kite is well under your control. So similarly, if we practice and if we know the secrets of breath, if we know the secrets of breath, it makes a lot of difference in, it helps us to handle our emotions in a much better way. Right? I'll just give a slight glimpse to the emotional thing factor. So we have these 7 energy points or centers or rather, like, if you see all the 7 chakras, there will be all your endocrine glands are also will be against, like, in line with all these 7 chakras. If most of you know about these chakras or the energy points or the 7 points in our, there are more than 108 chakras, but these 7 is quite important and something that everybody knows about. So when we are talking about the navel region, so at the region of the navel, yeah, or rather, like, not the navel, the Muladhara chakra, we call it, the base of the spine. So the emotion is either creativity, or it is like, you are caught up in the lust and, like, the basic instincts. Yeah. So that is the emotion. So every chakras will have 2 emotion. One is positive or negative. So the energy is the same, but if you know how to direct the energy, so if you know how to handle that energy in that region, then you become much more creative. Like, then we go to the next level, at the level of the navel. Like, you have these. You typically you see the laughing Buddha, no? The stomach is all like, big and everything. The joy and generosity is the positive aspect of that region. On a negative side, like, the greed and jealousy. Like, that's what, like, when we in South we say, like, hotte kichu. If you're jealous or, like, greed about somebody, we call it hotte kichu. If something happens in that region, yeah. So greed and jealousy is one aspect. Otherwise, it is joy and generosity. Yeah. So when it comes to the heart region, like at this region, it is 3 different emotions. Like, fear, love, and hatred. Only one can stay at a time. Yeah. Other if there is fear, you don't have love and hatred. If there is hatred, there is no love and hatred. So only one emotion can be dominant at a time. Yeah, better be love, isn't it? Yeah, but we don't even know the basics of it. Like, forget about handling all this. But I'm telling you, like, how when you're all from the mechanical background, yeah, when you know, like, how to fix any machine, then, like, you can play with it, right? But when you don't know, like, if I'm stuck in the whatever accident, or, like, middle of the thing when the car goes off, because I don't know the mechanics of the car, I have to be dependent on somebody, or I think, like, whatever it is. Yeah, making sense. Yeah, the same way, like, if we can invest in learning, like, the mechanics of the mind and how it functions, how we can handle it, it's a big thing. And at the level of the throat, it is like, gratitude or grief or gratitude. Yeah. And at the level of your eyes, like at the third eye level, it is anger or awareness. If there is awareness, definitely you will not get angry. And if there is angry, you will not have awareness at that moment. There's only one thing that can stay. This is just a trailer, but there is a lot. I'm telling you, it is possible. It is possible. And one thing, like, as professors, we love to learn. Yeah, learning is a gift. That is why we are professors and we are teaching. So see if you can find time to learn a little more about mind and the mechanics of the mind. It's very interesting. Okay. So that is about it from my side. Yeah. So please, as a doctor, I definitely would advise all of you to do this simple breathing technique. It's like 4 days, 2 hours is all that you need to spend, but you learn the proper breathing techniques. So when you learn this proper breathing technique called the Sudarshan Kriya and everything, you just practice it 20 minutes every day, like, how you brush, how you have bath. You just find time to do this for your mind and body. Your spine will remain healthy, your lungs will remain healthy, and more important, your mind will remain healthy. Yeah, it said, no, if the mind is very strong, however the body is, you can still pull through it. Yeah, But if the mind is weak, even a healthy body will fail. So everything is about your mind. Good. So it's just 8 hours is all that you need to invest. But I'm telling you, it is a lifetime investment. Good. If you have any questions, anything to ask, I'm there for the next 5 minutes. And then we will end the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your patient explanation about the each and every process, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Madam.
Yes, Chandrakumar.
Yeah. Thank you very much for nice explanation, madam. Can you, as teachers, sometimes we get exhausted. So can you give some tips? Of course, breathing exercise. And can you give some general tips so that we can boost our energy levels and we can have a healthy lifestyle?
So this is a simple thing that that I taught, so till you learn the proper Sudarshan. See, Sudarshan Kriya is a technique. Yeah, that is there is a rhythm. There is a rhythm in the nature, like how the flower blooms, how the sun sets, how the seasons come. So there's a rhythm in the nature. So in a similar way, we also have a rhythm in our body. Like your body, your mind, intellect, memory, we have 7 levels. Yeah, so we have a rhythm in all these 7 levels also. Now if there is no harmony between these levels, yeah, so my physical body is like, my mind and everything is saying like, if I see an ice cream, I want to have an ice cream, but I don't have a control over the thing. Yeah, but the intellect is saying, please don't have the ice cream, because it is not good for you at this age, like, sugar is not good. And then the memory is saying like, last time you had an ice cream, you fell ill and blah, blah, blah. So there is so much of conflict that is happening inside us. It makes sense, Chandrasekhar ji, what I'm talking?
Yes, madam, very much.
So there is a conflict inside ourselves. So there is a difference in our rhythm. So we need, like how we have a guitar. If the guitar is tuned properly, you get the best music out of it. However good a musician you are, if the guitar is not tuned, then you cannot play good music, right? So like that, we need to get this rhythm in all the, we have to harmonize the rhythms in our system, in our entire system, So when we do that, then it becomes easy. Like then automatically everything will fall in place. So one way of doing that is that Sudarshan Kriya is that rhythm, getting that rhythm back. But today, like to begin with, in today's class, how I taught you this breathing exercise. And remember that straw pranayama. So every time you feel like, you don't have enough energy or something is working, you're working on something and you feel like, you're stuck, just sit with your eyes closed, just for 2 minutes, do the straw pranayama, open, your brain will function in a very different way. Because just the energy to the brain itself will make a lot of difference. But these are small tips, but learning it properly, will make a lot of difference. That is all I want all of you to do.
Namaskara. Thank you, madam.
4 hours, 4 days and 8 hours. That's it. Invest. So this breathing exercise that I taught, that straw pranayama, Brahmari pranayama, Nadi Shodhan pranayama, everything that I taught is very powerful. Yes, Nawazji.
Anybody else to ask any queries can ask me, or post your queries in the chat box.
No, with the teaching also, one is like, your acidity is another thing. Yeah. So take care of that. Stress, stomach and stress are highly related. There's a connection between the stomach and the brain. So if you take care of the stress, you take care of the stomach, automatically stress also, and it is vice versa. And another thing with the teaching profession is you need to take care of your neck and shoulder region, and then you have to exercise your lower body because we are sitting for most of the time. That is something that you need to take care. Your
Ma'am, how to take care of stomach?
stomach, good food, exercises, yeah, timely exercise, and us, you have to do exercises, little bit of exercises,
Exercise.
and food is very important.
Right.
Yeah.
Food.
Correct food, the correct time, and all those things really matters.
Thank you, ma'am.
That is the vagus nerve I told you, na, the vagus nerve exercise, the Tata exercise. So vagus nerve is one nerve which like really helps with the stomach. It's a parasympathetic system. Parasympathetic system means that system which automatically works without our attention. Yeah. Vagus nerve controls most of these systems. When you do all these exercises, it helps. More than just learn that breathing technique, Sudarshan Kriya. It's very, very powerful. So much
Okay.
happened. Even the DNA changes with when you practice something for 8 weeks continuously, the brain pattern changes. So this is science. So when we practice this rhythmic breathing, Sudarshan Kriya, for 8 weeks, then automatically the DNA structure also changes. Health and everything improve automatically. So all of us after 30 years, health is the most important thing in our life.
Madam, eye exercises will improve the eyesight.
Yes, eye exercise. There are a lot of nice eye exercises are there. From the Art of Living, we have posted a lot of things on the YouTube also. Definitely, you need to take care of your eye exercise. It helps. Next time, some other time, when you have time, I can come do a session specifically on eyes also.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, do yoga help us to reduce weight?
See, why do you increase? Why do you gain weight in the first places? Stress plays a lot of role. Yeah? It is called stress eating. No? A lot of time when a mind is occupied, you don't even know what you're eating. Yeah? Because the senses are not 100%. Yeah, you tend to overeat. Have you? Everybody has done this. Like, you know, when you're a little tense, no, you just junk a lot of food. Yeah. So mentally, it's like, you know, when you are planting something on the soil has to be fertile. After that, whatever you plant, then it comes out very beautifully. So the same way, when you do the pranayama, meditation and everything, yoga, the land is set. And after that, when you do this particular exercise to lose weight, it becomes very easy for you to lose weight. But before that, like, you know, if the land is very barren and it is very, there's hardly any water in it, even the best of best seeds you sow and the best care you take, it is still a struggle. That is where yoga and meditation will help you understand the problem from the root cause. And when you understand the problem from the root cause, the discipline comes automatically. Otherwise, we all, like, you know, plan, we join the gym classes, yoga classes for 1 month, 3 months. After 6 months, you're nowhere close to your yoga class or gym classes. That is what happens because the mind is not strong. That is where yoga definitely helps you lose weight. But more than losing weight, being healthy is very important. Weight is secondary, healthy is very important. But yes, you can lose weight even if you're like this fat. Yeah, my sister-in-law is like, you know, really worked hard And in just less than 6 months, like, she's back fit in shape. It is possible. Good. So that is about it. Yeah. So, there's this program called as Online Happiness and Breath Workshop. Again, it's a 4-day program just for 2 hours, but learn the proper techniques of Sudarshan Kriya and practices. That's all from my side. Thank you very, very much for this opportunity, Abhishek and Dr. Niti. I don't know if he's there, but thanks for him. He's the one who's coordinating.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of the members, I want to thank you for your thoughtful orientation. Your talk was particularly appropriate at this time when we are facing a lot of trouble and undergoes many kind of stresses in this pandemic. We enjoyed and relaxed throughout this session. We learned some good exercise that really help us to overcome this critical situation. Truly, I am just feeling fresh after doing all of this exercise along with you. Once again, I express my sincere gratitude to you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for letting us happy, peace, and healthy life. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I'd like to thank all the participants for your fearless cooperation throughout this session. This is a time to end the today's training program. See you all tomorrow with another three great resource person with different topic. Until then, goodbye. Have a great day. I am signing off. Thank you.